Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about Azealia Banks losing it on Matty Healy, Al Pacino knocking up a 28-year-old, and The Little Mermaid getting review bombed. So first up, Azealia Banks has launched an attack on Matty Healy. She took to her Instagram stories and shared a screenshot of an article about his comments on Ice Spice. She followed that up with a scathing post mocking pretty much everything about him. She said, "Does Matty Healy know that no one actually thinks the 1975 make good music, and that he's a lame poser with a trash cliche band name that actually means nothing?" Azealia pointed out that he might be jealous of Ice Spice because she's making more moves and more money than him. Then in a separate story, she urged Taylor Swift not to associate with him because she says he's not on her level. In fact, she called him an incel that is going to give her scabies. Instead, she insisted that there are so many other much cooler people in the music industry that Taylor could be dating. As an example, she brought up James Mercer from The Shins and called him one of the best lyricists ever. Of course, in classic Azealia Banks fashion, she also trashed Matty's physical appearance in every way possible. She said that he needs a banana bag, a liquid IV, a strong green salad, and some water. She also said that he needs to wash his D as well as his nasty wet rat hair. So she pretty much included every single insult that she could think of. These kinds of posts are actually super normal for her. Most people know that she regularly trashes celebrities online and starts beef with seemingly random people. But this time, there was a lot of people supporting her latest take on the 1975 singer. The backlash against him intensified this week when he gave an interview about his infamous appearance on the Adam Friedland podcast. Along with the two other hosts, he was heard laughing along to racist comments about Ice Spice and various other questionable statements. Matty responded to the controversy in the worst way possible. He spoke to the New Yorker about the situation, and instead of apologizing, he placed the blame on everyone else. He said that he chose to be on the podcast because he wanted to do something that felt more like simply talking with his friends. But of course, that conversation was broadcast to the world, and what he considered to be harmless banter actually turned out to be deeply offensive to a lot of people. But Matty dismissed this entirely and acted as though no one was really upset by what he said. Quote, "It doesn't actually matter. That doesn't happen. If it does, you're either deluded or you're a liar. You're either lying that you're hurt or you're a bit mental for being hurt." He believes that it's just people wanting to get as close as possible to what they feel is a bad thing, only so they can feel superior by comparison. So essentially, anyone complaining about the podcast is being disingenuous. That's a pretty big accusation, and it's no surprise that it only made this whole situation even worse. Not only did he not clarify his comments, but he tried to turn the whole thing around and frame it as a problem with society or cancel culture. Even before the podcast, Matty insisted that he had no interest in being publicly correct anymore. He said, "I've done my decade of trying to be that. I'm more interested in actually being wrong and people seeing that and knowing what's right because of it." So these days he's chosen to completely reject his social responsibility as a celebrity. Whether or not that's a good thing is to be determined, but it means that we won't be getting any kind of apology from him at all, no matter how problematic what he said might be. Taylor, on the other hand, is a different story altogether. She hasn't spoken up about his various controversies yet, but it doesn't mean that she'll stay silent forever, especially as pressure from her massive fan base intensifies. But right now she does seem to be a lot happier, and that's really hard to deny. She's also let us know a little bit more about her split from Joe Alwyn. She released a song called "You're Losing Me," which is only available on certain physical copies of Midnight's, and the lyrics have started trending online. She sings a line, "And I wouldn't marry me either, pathological people pleaser, who only wanted you to see her, and I got nothing to believe unless you're choosing me." Although Taylor hasn't confirmed who the track is about, its release comes 1 month after it was reported that her celebrity status played a role in their breakup. Next up, did you know that Al Pacino has just knocked up a 28-year-old? The actor is set to become a father again at the age of 83 with his 29-year-old girlfriend Nora Fala. His representatives confirmed the news to NBC after TMZ first broke the story. Nora is currently 8 months pregnant with the star's 4th child. Al Pacino is also a father to his 33-year-old daughter Julie Marie, who he shares with his ex-girlfriend Jeanne Tarrant. He also shares 22-year-old twins Anton and Olivia with his ex Beverly D'Angelo. In a new interview with The New Yorker in 2014, he opened up about his family life and his own father, who left his family when he was only 2 years old. He said, "Having children has helped a lot. I consciously knew that I didn't want to be like my dad. I wanted to be there. I have 3 children, I'm responsible to them. I'm a part of their life." He said that when he's not around, it's upsetting to him and to them. So when you consider how much he values his family, he's probably overjoyed at the idea of having a 4th child. He's been romantically linked to his current partner since April of 2022, after they were photographed leaving Felix Restaurant in Venice, California. Last month, Nor posted a photo with Al Pacino on her Instagram. The two of them were at an art gallery in New York City seeing her friend's exhibition. She previously dated Mick Jagger from 2017 to 2018, and they were rumored to have gotten together when his then girlfriend Melanie Hamrick was pregnant with their child. And surprisingly, she's been romantically linked to a few other big names. A few years ago, she was reported to be dating a billionaire called Nicholas Berggruen, and there were even some rumors that she'd linked up with Clint Eastwood when the two of them were spotted together at dinner in 2019. But Noor quickly shut that speculation down. She spoke to the Daily Mail and said, "There is no relationship, we're not dating, we're family friends, and my family was there and that's it." Even though her relationship with Al Pacino is just making the headlines now, she's reportedly been with him for quite a while. A source spoke to Page 6 and said they started seeing each other during the pandemic. She mostly dates very rich older men. She's been with Al for some time and they get on very well. The age gap doesn't seem to be a problem, even though he's old enough to be her father. And that's the part that seems to have drawn quite a bit of criticism online. Judging by the reaction on Twitter, you can see that people were genuinely surprised by the news. Most of the comments are wondering how is it even possible at his age to get someone pregnant. Others pointed out the massive age difference between them and wrote things like, "He was 53 years old when she was born." One person tweeted, "This might be legal, but this is still weird as hell, because what does grandma got in common with that girl?" Of course, there were also some serious questions brought up about having a child at this stage in life. Many thought it was downright irresponsible, considering that realistically they will have very little time with their father. It's a valid criticism, but that doesn't seem to slow down the growing list of older fathers in Hollywood. In fact, Al Pacino's longtime friend and former co-star Robert De Niro has recently welcomed his 7th child at the age of 79. The actor welcomed his daughter Gia Virginia Chen De Niro with his girlfriend Tiffany Chen on April the 6th. The couple is said to be over the moon about the newest member of their family. De Niro shocked fans when he revealed that he was now a father of 7 while he was chatting with Entertainment Tonight Canada. He corrected the interviewer who asked him about his 6 children, and he said, "Actually, it's 7, because I just had a baby." De Niro and his first wife Deanna Abbott are parents to their 51-year-old daughter Drina and 46-year-old son Raphael. In 1995, he welcomed twin sons Julian and Aaron, who are now 27, with his former girlfriend Tukey Smith. The actor also shares his 24-year-old son Elliot and 11-year-old daughter Helen with Grace Hightower. So he has a really big family with kids of varying ages. He spoke to Access Hollywood about his expanding family, where he also shared his tips on fatherhood. He said, "Sometimes I don't think people really know what being a good father is. Well, they do. You know you have your responsibility, but look, it's a mystery, it's a lot of excitement, but it's scary, and you do your best." So clearly he knows a thing or two about fatherhood by now and is obviously very happy to have had another baby. Alright, so let's talk about The Little Mermaid and all the ridiculous review bombing that's going on. Disney's live-action remake has been a hit with critics, but the casting of Halle Bailey as Ariel continues to bring about blatant racism online. There have now been several efforts to ruin the film's success with something called review bombing, where a large group of people post negative reviews to try to harm production. This has led one of the internet's largest sites to adjust its rating system for the film. IMDb currently gives the movie a 7 out of 10 ranking, but of the 33,000 user-submitted reviews, around 13,000 have it ranked with a 1 star, which is a very clear attempt to try and artificially mess with the ratings. The site released a statement warning people about this. They said, "Our rating mechanism has detected unusual voting activity on this title. To preserve the reliability of our rating system, an alternate weighing calculation has been applied." So basically, this other method of calculation was used in order to preserve the reliability of their system. While this might have fixed the problem for now, the truth is that review bombing is becoming an increasingly large problem. From people taking issues with LGBTQ+ inclusion, race swapping of characters, or even the departure of a lead actor, there are many reasons that people slam various movies and TV shows other than the production actually being bad. Groups of people who either object to a film or want to see it succeed will flood movie review sites with positive or negative reviews to try and skew the averages. A lot of this is done by bots, but it's almost always orchestrated as a result of something hateful. Halle's casting as the character Ariel was praised by a lot of people, including Jodie Benson, who was the original voice in the animated version. But when trailers and clips from the movie started to appear online, it suffered a fair amount of backlash. People loudly complained about the casting and insisted that the character needs to remain Caucasian with red hair. Some even tried to make the argument that it would be more realistic that way, which is crazy considering that it's a movie about mermaids. Even some celebrities seem to be betting against it. Mena Massoud, the star of Disney's Aladdin, the 2019 live-action remake, made a shady comment about the movie on Twitter. He responded to a tweet that said, "The Little Mermaid is tracking to earn $115 million million on its domestic box office opening weekend. In comparison, Aladdin earned $112 million on its opening. In response, Mena wrote that the movie probably won't cross the billion mark because there won't be enough returning viewers, like with Aladdin, which he says was unique in that audiences went to watch it multiple times. Although his tweet seemed innocent enough, to a lot of people it sounded like he was jealous at the prospect of The Little Mermaid being successful. Thankfully, all the review bombing and criticism didn't have very much effect on its performance. On Rotten Tomatoes, it currently sits at 68% with critics and 95% with audiences. So those are some pretty solid numbers. It topped the box office last week with the 5th biggest Memorial Day weekend opening on record, earning $95.5 million. In fact, after just 3 days on release, audiences have made it one of the biggest movies of the year. So have you already seen it, or do you plan on seeing it? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.